my Fox Hollow fam. I'm Dave and welcome to Baking with Fox Hollow Kitchen. Well, I cannot tell a lie. Tomorrow is President's Day, and so in honor of that, we are making a homemade cherry pie with a lattice crust.
She's my cherry pie.
It's sweet and simple, and you guys are gonna love it. So if you're ready, then let's have some fun. Okay, well, the first thing we're gonna do is make our pie crust. I'm gonna take 2.5 cups of flour here. 2.5 cups of flour, put it in my food processor, and a half. We're going to add to that 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and then 2 sticks of butter cut up into small pieces. I like to refrigerate my butter after I cut it, or freeze it even, to keep it solid. You don't want to melt the butter into the flour. You want them to go, we want little beads of butter when we're done. Just get this all in here. Doesn't want to come off the plate. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pulse this with our food processor until we get little beads of flour and butter together. Yeah, that's pretty good. We have little pieces of butter all mixed in here. Now what I'm going to do to this is I'm going to add a little bit of ice water to it, like a tablespoonful at a time, maybe 2 here, until it holds together. When you press your fingers together, we want a dough here that holds together. I'm getting flour all over everything, but we are good. Yeah, now it's starting to come together. It's still a little crumbly though. It doesn't quite hold together. It's still too crumbly, so I'm going to add more water. I'm using ice water here because I don't want to melt the butter. I'm going to keep going. Now I think we're talking here. I think we got a dough here. Yeah, it's coming together. See that? Now I've got a good dough. I'm going to take this out onto our countertop here with a little bit of extra flour, and we're going to form it up. Alright, now that I've got this all worked together here, I'm going to divide it into 2 pieces for a top and bottom crust. We're going to roll each piece into a little disc, a little dough ball, and flatten it. We're going to cover these with plastic wrap and let them chill for at least 2 hours or possibly overnight. I'll make 2 little discs here. Alright, for our filling, we've got about 4 cups of cherries here. These are some cherries that we got last year and froze them, so they've been sitting in the freezer. I thawed them out and drained the excess liquid off, and we're going to add to that 3/4 cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and we're going to heat this over medium heat to release some of the juices. Got my big spoon here, and we're just going to fold these together. Looking good here. Just going to heat this over medium. Okay, now that I've got a good bit of juice here, I'm going to remove the cherries themselves using my slotted spoon and leave the juice behind. we're just going to take some of these out. All right, looks like I've got the last couple here coming out. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is remove a little bit of this juice and stir about a third cup of cornstarch into it to thicken it up, and then we're going to return it all to the burner. There we go. It helps have a little whisk that you can use. Whisk our cornstarch mixture back in. And we're going to heat this over medium until it thickens. Alright, this has thickened up pretty good. I'm going to add our cherries back in and remove it from the heat. Alright, now we're going to take our pie crust that we've refrigerated for a couple hours here. I'm going to let it out of the plastic wrap that I put it in, if I can find the end of it. This is the hardest part of the whole recipe right here.
Dun dun dun. Now, what is the reason that you do refrigerate the pie crust, Dave?
It's to get the butter back to a regular temperature, and also for the glutens in the dough to form, so that it'll stretch out nicely.
Yeah, not many people may know that at home, so.
Yeah, it lets the dough stretch out a little better. If you try to do it without refrigerating it, you'd end up in pretty bad shape probably. Now very gently, because this is kind of hard, I'm going to roll it out into a circle.
Now, when is the longest you've ever let a pie crust set up?
Oh, probably overnight. They're good overnight.
Okay.
Yeah, these have been 2 hours, which ought to be enough.
Yeah, it looks like it's stretching out pretty nice there.
Yeah, I need a little more flour here to keep it from sticking to my counter.
Not necessarily the counter, it's a kitchen table here.
Yep.
Not a counter, big difference.
Whatever you're using. It's starting to get stretched out here to the right thickness.
Are you down with the thickness?
Down with the thickness. Yes.
Yes?
Yes, down with the thickness.
Now, what can they do if their pie crust does start getting a little bit of cracks in it?
You can reform it and start over. That's probably the best thing to do. Or use it for the top crust, because I'm going to make a lattice crust for the top here.
Ooh, okay.
Because it's a cherry pie. That's traditional. Let's see here. How are we doing?
Is it a sweet cherry pie?
It's not that sweet. Yeah, it's not extremely sweet. Normally you use tart cherries that have a little bit of bite to them. That helps. I almost got this ready here. We've almost got it out as far as we need to go. I'm going to give it a little bit more to get it in our pie crust, in our pie shell. It is starting to crack open though, but it'll work when I get it into the pie plate.
Yeah, that looks actually really good.
Yeah, it'll work when we get it into the pie plate. I think it's about the right thickness. So next I'm going to throw this into my pie plate and see what I got. Okay, so I put this in my deep dish pie plate, and it is just about the right size. I got a little extra going out to the edges, and I'm going to push it down in. Very gently stretch everything to fit. I just don't want to poke holes in the bottom is all.
You don't want to go pokey pokey?
No pokey pokey on this one. We want to keep it nice. Poke it the whole way to the bottom. That's the first step anyway. Get it to go the whole way down. piece got a little fold in it, but that's okay. We'll just squish it together. Same over here.
Now, what is your favorite type of pie, Dave?
For pie, probably apple. But I like a lot of different ones.
Is there any kind that you will not eat?
I don't know. We haven't really come across one that I wouldn't eat.
Coconut cream?
Yeah, I'm not crazy about coconut, so maybe that one.
You don't got a lovely bunch of coconuts?
No, I don't. All right, I'm gonna trim the edge on this.
You don't have them sitting in a row?
No, not at all.
Do.
Not at all. I'm gonna trim the edges on this, and we're gonna start on our top crust. Okay, now's the time for our Ask Fox Hollow segment, so hit me with it. What do we got today?
Okay, our question comes from our neighbor Amber.
Okay, what does Amber say?
And Amber wants to know, is there any recipe that we have made in the past that we continue to make again and again after the show because we enjoyed it so much?
Probably one that we make a lot is going to be the red velvet gobs, the red velvet whoopie pies. Those are awesome, and they're a lot of work, but we've made them for picnics and for family get-togethers, and people really eat them up. We can't keep them on.
Okay.
Okay. Another one might be the large chocolate chip cookies. I just made a batch of those the other day for a party.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Amber, for that. And Dave, what do we got going here?
Okay, so now we're going to roll out our top crust. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the other one. A lightly floured surface here. And I'm just going to start gently getting this softened up a little bit.
Are we going to be down with the thickness on this?
Down with the thickness, I suppose so, yes. We'll be down with the thickness. Now this one doesn't have to look as pretty because we're going to cut it into strips.
Oh, we're going to cut it into strips?
Yep. So we just need it rolled out into pretty much of a circle, as close as we can get it.
Now, how many strips do you think you're going to be cutting?
Oh, I don't even know. They're half-inch strips, probably about a dozen or more.
Okay.
You know. Yeah, this one's getting some cracks in it, a little more than the other one did.
And that should be all right considering what you're cutting them into strips. So.
Yeah, I'm cutting it into little strips, but I kind of want to keep them whole, so we'll see what we can get out of it. Okay. And then what we're going to do with this, now that we got this rolled out, I'm going to cut it into strips using a pizza cutter. You can use anything really, but I'm going to use a pizza cutter because it's easy. And we're going to do like 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch wide strips. Just as many as we can get out of it. Okay, I think that's about all we're going to get for right now.
Okay.
And I'm going to set these aside. And we're going to fill our pie and then top it with the lattice.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good? All right. All right, the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take our bottom pie shell, I'm going to fill it with the cherries that we made. Just dump all these in here. All that sauce. And we're going to spread them out. Okay. And then I'm going to take my lattice strips that I made. I'm going to take a long one and lay it right across the top here. And just go like that with a couple of these. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw back every other one of these, like that. I'm going to lay another strip across the center, this way, and then we're going to alternate. We're going to stick this back, and draw these ones back. And then go again. I'm going to do the same thing with this other side. And there you go. That's our lattice top. And we're going to pinch this down around the edges so that it seals nice and flute the edge. Okay, and then I'm just going to go around here and pinch this off, roll it up a little bit, pinch up the edge. To get these strips completely in there. Okay, and then we're ready to throw this in the oven at 400 for about 40 to 45 minutes. Wrapping up today, I want to thank you all for joining us and encourage you to check out our friends and support channels listed in the description below. But before I go, always remember, good times and good food on Baking with Fox Hollow Kitchen. We'll see you soon.
If you like this video or any of our other videos,
Be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons and stay tuned for future shows.